Hey guys, it's your girl Deann and I am back with another video. So guys, this video is about my personal advice and tips about doing airline interviews. So guys, if you are interested, then stay tuned. Congratulations! You got an email request to do a phone, video, or a face-to-face interview. You should be very proud of yourself, so pat yourself on the back. Why? Because guys, there were many candidates who applied, but for some reason you made it through all of those candidates, so that, my friend, kudos to you. Now guys, I believe there is an algorithm and that every candidate who sends in an application, there's certain keywords or phrases that determines who makes it and who doesn't. So you made it through the cup, boo. So that is step one towards your goal of becoming a flight attendant. Now guys, when you are preparing for these interviews, the one thing you need to do is set time aside to do the interview. Now guys, understand, 9 times out of 10, when these emails are sent, it is time sensitive, meaning you only have a certain window to complete the interview if you are interested. So guys, timing is key and it's everything. You have to determine, when can I sit down and do this interview without any interruptions or with any time constraints. When you are setting up these interviews, guys, I recommend that you allow an hour or so to just sit down and completely do the interview without rushing. And I'll give you an example. For my airline, I had to set up a phone interview. So I got the email, I went in, and I was able to set up the interview. Now, certain times and days did not work out for me because they did not have a later time. I got off of work at 4 at the time. So I set my interview for 4:30. Now, Colorado is 1 hour ahead of Arizona. So guys, I already had my interview set up and I was waiting for someone to call me. Well, good thing I did not do it, the interview during lunch or anything else, because she was late and called me about 4:45. So had I been on lunch, I would have rushed through that interview. The interview was about 20 minutes. So you see, that is why I scheduled the interview after 4:30, or I'm sorry, at 4:30, because I didn't want no interruptions. I did not want to rush. Guys, this is the key. You have to sit and devote all your time to making sure what you're submitting is what you are wanting someone else to see. So with these interviews, again, timing is everything. If you are rushing, if you're making mistakes, that can take you out of the runnings for becoming America's Next Top Model. So remember, guys, the first step is to set time aside. If you have time constraints, other obligations, if you're not able to fully commit to the interview, don't set it up. Once you set time aside to do the interview, now you have to find a perfect location. Now guys, this is just as important. Now this is mainly for a phone or video interview. Now guys, with a phone interview, they may not can see you, but they can hear you. And of course, with a video interview, not only can they see you, but they can hear you. So guys, the location that you select has to be the perfect place. So guys, when I did my phone interview, I did it in my car. And the reason why I did it in my car is because it was peace and quiet. The office that I worked at was very loud. You can hear people talking, laughing in the background. You can hear doors opening and closing. You can hear cars driving by. Like it just wasn't a good place to do a phone interview. So my car was the perfect location. Now, when it comes to a video interview, this is a little bit tricky. Not only does your noise level have to be at a 0, but the background has to be free and clear of clutter. So guys, when I did my video interviews, I did them about 3 o'clock in the morning. And the reason why, guys, is because throughout the day, my neighbors were loud. You can hear doors opening and closing, people arguing, people yelling at their kids, You can hear car alarms, rap music. I mean, it was just so much stuff that was distracting. So around 3 o'clock in the morning, there was no noise because people were asleep. And that was the best time for me to do my video interview. Another thing to consider is the background. Is there a plant, furniture, a painting that is distracting? I would remove it. When I did my video interviews, the camera was towards a blank white wall. There was nothing in the background that could distract the person looking at my video. You don't want people walking around, your animals walking around. You don't want anything that's going to be an eyesore or a distraction. When it comes to these video interviews, you have to be very careful because, again, everything that they see is something that can hinder you from moving on to the next step. So I recommend when you're doing a phone interview, a nice quiet place. Video interview, no clutter or mess in the background, and of course, you don't want any noise because, again, this can all take you out of the runnings for becoming America's Next Top Model. All right, you got time set aside to do the interview. You got a location. Now we have to ask ourselves, what am I wearing? Now, guys, remember, you do not have a second chance to make a first impression. What you wear is key to your interview. Now, this is mainly for a video or face-to-face, not necessarily a phone interview. So to me, stick to the basics. If you look at my video interviews I've done for these airlines, I wore a black blazer, white collar shirt, and black slacks. Like I said, Mesa Airline, they do a full body video interview. Like, it was kind of weird for me, but I stuck to the basic of black and white, and that's what I would recommend. Ladies, simple black blazer, white collar shirt, black slacks. Some, you can wear navy blue. It really depends on your preference. That's not bad. I would try to stay away from polka dots and stripes. Just keep it simple. You don't want to do anything that's going to be an eyesore to the person who's looking at you. If you're going to wear a dress, make sure, ladies, that your arms are not exposed. You don't have like a spaghetti strap or anything that's inappropriate. The dress should go past your knees, just like a skirt. If you're going to wear a skirt, it shouldn't be too tight. Your split shouldn't be so high, and it should also go past your knees. I would recommend wearing pantyhose, so stick to the sheer, nude, or black. No fishnet or anything else that's inappropriate. Ladies, if you're going to wear high heels, I would keep it down to a half an inch. You don't want to wear stilettos. There's no need for that. You're interviewing to be a flight attendant, not a Victoria's Secret's fashion runway show model. You see what I'm saying? So just keep it basic. Flats are appropriate, black. Just make sure that your image is polished. All right, ladies, and when it comes to our nails, I would recommend to go with a classic French manicure or pink and white. You don't want the long nails, the nails that come to a point, nothing like that. You don't want colors that are distracting. This is not the time to wear rhinestones or a color that's inappropriate. Just stick to a basic French manicure or pink and white. Short nails. And believe it or not, this applies for a face-to-face. Recruiters are looking at everything, overall appearance, and they will judge us on our nails. Most airlines have a length and color restriction. Like if you look at my nails, this just chipped. This is not appropriate. I would have to get that fixed. You can get in trouble for that. So just keep in mind with the face-to-face that they may look at your nails. Another thing, ladies, is our jewelry. When it comes to a necklace, I would recommend a pearl necklace. Or if you're going to wear one necklace, no chokers, nothing that is inappropriate, not multiple necklaces, just a simple necklace like this. Now, earrings, I would do a pearl earring. This would not be something I would recommend, but this came with the pearl earrings. I lost them. But you don't want to do earrings that dangle like chandeliers. You don't want to do the huge hoops door knockers are a color that is just really inappropriate. You want to do a stud or a small earring, and you don't want multiple piercings, because again, as a flight attendant, that in uniform is not allowed. If you have any piercings like nose, tongue, eyebrow, lip, I would take those out, because in uniform, again, you cannot wear those. Any visible tattoos that cannot be covered by the uniform, I wouldn't showcase them. So just keep that in mind when it comes to that. Now, ladies, our hair should be pulled back. You shouldn't have hair in your face. You shouldn't have hair touching your shoulders. Your hair should be pulled all the way back. I wouldn't recommend bangs. I wouldn't recommend hair down the middle. Just pull it back, because they're trying to see how you will look in uniform. So they want to see your face and your overall appearance. So just keep that in mind. You could do a ponytail, French roll. I wouldn't do pigtails, a side ponytail. Just keep it very simple. And another thing to consider, ladies, is the hair color. A lot of airlines, they don't do the two-tone. I know my airline, I wear wigs. Your root can't be one color and the rest of the hair is one color. So you have to be very, very, very careful about what hair color that you select for the interview. You don't want anything that's going to eliminate. Sometimes they'll look at you and say, nope, next. You don't want that, because you come this far and you're so close to your dream of being a flight attendant. And sometimes the hairstyles. I know with my airlines, every airline kind of views different when it comes to a hairstyle. Again, we can't do ponytails, like two ponytails, a side ponytail. It's kind of iffy about what they will allow. You'll have to check. But on a video interview, just keep it very simple. Pull it back and away from your face. Another thing to consider is our makeup. Now, ladies, the makeup should be natural. They should not be able to see on a video how much makeup you're wearing. Remember that technology is better. Sometimes these cameras are high definition, so they might see all the contour you put on. They might see the highlight on your cheeks and nose. This is not the time really to show off your makeup skills, especially face to face. When someone is facing you like this and they can see the heavy makeup, that may be frowned upon, because even most airlines, they have a restriction about how they want you to look when it comes to makeup. So just have a natural look. This is like not the time to showcase your cut crease. Again, the contour, the highlight, no one cares about that. I would refrain from wearing eyeshadow. I would refrain from wearing the long, I'm not saying like eyelash extensions are not appropriate, because I wear them, but the very, very long ones that just look ridiculous and an eyesore, I would not wear that, because they can see it. Just try to keep your makeup as simple and classy. That's what we're going for. Again, as a flight attendant in uniform, they may not allow you to wear your makeup like that. If you're going to wear lipstick, I will stick to the classic red lip. You can't go wrong. Or you can do a nude. This is not the time to wear blue, purple, sparkly, just a really loud color. Don't do that. Wear a red lip, nude, or if you don't want to wear lipstick, wear lip gloss. But in my interviews, I wore a red lip. I just stuck to the classic. That seems to be a very appropriate color with most airlines, so just stick to the basics. And another thing, ladies, I would recommend is perfume. So believe it or not, and this is really face to face, if someone can smell your perfume and it's strong, that may be something that they will consider as distracting. So just be light with the perfume. I know you want to smell good and you want everyone to know you're wearing Chanel, but again, less is more. Just the way you look at it is, how will someone perceive you? If someone's looking at you, how are they going to look at you? Do they see you as a flight attendant? Do they see you as a fashion model? Do they see you as someone auditioning for Project Runway? You have to ask yourself is, what is the image? They should view you as a flight attendant and nothing else. All right, fellas, so when it comes to attire, I would just again stick to a classic look. There's no need to chase waterfalls. Stick to the rivers, the lakes, the navy or black suits that you are used to. So wear a navy or black suit, white collared shirt. I will wear trouser socks, black or navy blue, right? Your shoes, black, polished, neat, clean. Wouldn't do anything extra. Please don't wear tennis shoes. That is a no-no. I have been on a face-to-face and I feel bad because maybe that man, that is all he had. But tennis shoes with a suit is so inappropriate. I wouldn't wear that. Um, I was, again, fellas, don't do any kind of pattern of a suit that is distracting. I wouldn't wear a tight suit where it's like tight around your ankles or you're flooding. Wear a suit that is tailored for your length and it's appropriate. You don't want, your trouser, your arms to be exposed, your wrist. Like, again, everything should be appropriate according to the length, your jacket and your trouser pants. When it comes to the facial hair, this is a little bit different because every airline is different. I would neatly trim a mustache. When it comes to the beard, I'm not sure if you're allowed to have a beard. I don't think you can have the beard that kind of hangs because you got to think about the appearance. You may be able to have a beard. They could have restrictions or maybe you can't. I'm not sure. Every airline is different. I do know in uniform, again, fellas, piercings, that's a little bit different. I don't know if you can have your ears pierced, but I know other piercings you cannot have. And what I mean is like tongue, eyebrows, nose, lip, multiple piercings, that is not allowed. Tattoos, make sure they're not visible outside of your uniform, but every airline is different. You'll have to check with that. Jewelry, again, fellas, keep that watch. You always got to have a watch on you, and the watch should be appropriate. Again, every airline is different when it comes to the size of the watch, and I mean, yeah, they even tell you about that, the color and things of that nature. Fellas, your nails, they should be trimmed. I'm not saying you have to have clear gloss, but you shouldn't have dirty, long fingernails. That is a bad representation. I mean, as a woman, I don't want to see it. And I know these recruiters definitely don't want to see it if your nails are not clean. You know what Janet Jackson said in Poetic Justice? You don't even keep your nails clean. So anything you say is null and void. So just make sure to have those nails clean. But again, fellas, when it comes to you guys, like I said, it's a little bit different. I don't know the rules with every airline, but just kind of present yourself in a positive light. What is allowed and what is not allowed varies by airline. So you can always do your research about what you should do. But just remember how you appear on video and in person. Try not to take away from the image of you being a flight attendant. All right, guys, so another way to prepare for your interview is to do a practice Q&A. So guys, we don't know what questions are going to be asked, and every airline is different with their questions. So guys, one thing I did to help is I Googled flight attendant interview questions. And guys, another thing is I went to Glassdoor, or you can go to Indeed, and you can type in interview questions for that airline, and you have people that would tell you what questions were asked throughout their interview. Now, one thing with Glassdoor, if you're going to use that as a source, just make sure that it's not past tense. Meaning, if someone's responding from 2016 about interview questions and for 2020, it's not going to add up. It's past tense. But it is a good source of knowledge if you decide to go that route. So I took the questions, put them on flashcards, and guys, basically I practiced how I would respond to the questions. Another thing to keep in mind, guys, is mostly with a video interview and face-to-face, they're going to ask you situational questions. Tell me of a time you had to adjust to a change in your schedule. What would you do if you observed a coworker stealing? What steps would you take? So guys, they're going to ask you questions like that. And when you if you have a face-to-face that is scheduled, one thing they will do, guys, is they are going to ask you questions that is on your resume. Now, I had this happen to me, and I've heard about that. So guys, when I had my airline face-to-face interview with my company, the guy had my resume, and he was like, "Oh, I see you used to work at the Clory Institute. How long were you there and what did you do? Now, guys, if I was lying about my dates, if I just wrote, like lied about the description, I could not answer that. But because I really did work there, I was able to answer it. So just keep it in mind, face to face. Definitely, they're going to ask questions pertaining to your resume. Video interview and face to face, guys, it is definitely going to be situational questions. So again, practice so you're not surprised. The one thing you don't want to do is the long pauses. You want to be able to respond, but you also want your answer to be good. So just keep that in mind when it comes to preparing for the airline interview questions. All right, guys, and another question that may be asked is simply, why do you want to be a flight attendant? Now, guys, this is all across the board. You may be asked this question and you have to prepare on how you will respond. Now, guys, when I had a group interview with SkyWest, and I have a whole video, it's a whole process with them, but the one thing they make you do is to stand up in front of everybody while the recruiters are in the back with a paper and pencil looking at you. You have to say your name, wherever you're from, use an airport code, and then you had under a minute to say why you're going to be a flight attendant. Now, guys, I knew about this because I watched Natasha B., who now was with United, and I think Basketball Mom. So I did my research about SkyWest by looking up videos. So when it was my turn, guys, like I typed up this whole paragraph of a response, right? But the thing is, you don't want to sound robotic and it's not authentic. So when I got up there, I freestyled. I mean, that's all I can do. But I brought in my experience with pain management until being a flight attendant. Since the way I did the answer was that a lot of the job duties are similar, like caring for patients, the safety of patients, and things of that nature. So the answer was good enough that I made it to the 101. But it was very nerve-wracking. But there were some people who went up there and they didn't stick to under a minute. And they went on and on about their life story. Like, ever since I was a little girl, I just knew I wanted to be a flight attendant. You can't say those kind of things. Like, they're testing you. If they say under a minute, you need to stick to under a minute. And some people went way off the charts with their response. But the one thing I did hear a lot is that I love to travel. I want to see the world. We all know why we want to be a flight attendant. Duh, the benefits. They know that. But you can't say that in your answer. The answer has to say something about, I love helping people, meeting people from all walks of life. I want to ensure the safety of our passengers. I want to give them the best experience flying. Things of that nature. You got to kind of tie everything into the answer. Your customer service background, safety, and why you think you'd be a good fit for that company. But saying I want to fly around the world and all that, that's not going to cut it. And guys, another thing I would recommend, before you apply for an airline, do your research. Trust me when I tell you, you have to do your research, guys. For the life of me, I don't understand how someone can apply to any job and not know nothing about the company. Like, guys, do your research. Like, do they have a charity program? Do they have a motto or a slogan they use? What is the company's culture? Where are they based at? Like, you have to do your research, guys. And the reason why I'm saying that is they may ask you in the interview, what do you know about the company? And I'll give you a perfect example, guys. There is a guy that was in my crash pad. He works for Southwest. Well, guys, for many, many years, he tried to get on with Southwest. And if you know anything about Southwest, guys, Southwest, I feel like every leap year, right, they are looking for flight attendants. Like, they'll go ahead and put their link that they're hiring for flight attendants. And when people apply, the website does crash down, right? It crashes or whatever. So he finally applied. He was able to get his application through. Now, again, with Southwest, there's a lot of applications on hold. It might be a year or so before you hear anything from somebody. But what he did is, while he was preparing for Southwest, he read a book called Nuts. I think it's Nuts, if I'm not mistaken. Nuts is a book about Southwest. So it gives you a history lesson about Southwest, through the bankruptcies, everything. It's a really good book. But he read that book. He studied Southwest religiously, okay? And when he finally got his phone interview, one of the first questions the lady asked him is, what do you know about Southwest? And when I tell you, he gave them a whole history lesson. That lady was so surprised because she wasn't expecting for him to know that much about Southwest. So once the interview was over, you know how they tell you, oh, we'll call you in 7 days or we'll send you an email. They called him the next hour and offered him a face-to-face. So guys, that's how impressive his phone interview was. Now guys, that is just a little bit of what I mean about doing your research, guys. When I did my video interview with American Airlines, I never forget it. One of the answers they asked me is, what do you know about the company? What I tried to do is to incorporate their slogan into the answer, and I messed up. I messed up the slogan, so I knew at that moment everything else is pew. Like guys, I mean, to me, if they have a motto or a slogan and they're asking you a question, try to tie that in. That's like the icing on the cake, because you're using what they are, like their logo, for your answer. Like, it's like, I did my research, I know what you guys stand for. You know our slogan. If you don't, you can Google it. But if I was going to answer a question and I mention my logo or our slogan in the answer, it's just a little bit extra points. You know what I'm saying? And this all adds up when it comes to applicants. Like, think about it. If you have all these applicants that they're trying to get through, and yet you do something like that, you just move yourself to the top of the list. Everything you're doing is, to me, to give you more kudos points. They're going to remember your application. They're going to remember you over someone who did not take the time to do the research. But if they have charity work, like I know some airlines, you can donate your miles for cancer or things of that nature for good causes, mention it. If they have a code of conduct or what we're known for, mention it. Anything about that company, if they were like the best airlines in 2018, won an award, any kind of accolades, mention it. All of this is helping you get past those applicants, because they're going to remember the things that you said. And this is something that I try to do, but again, with American, I messed up the slogan, and like I said, everything is to tie in on you nailing your interview. And this, to me, will make you stand out, guys. So again, do your research. Do not go into an interview not knowing anything about that company, because if they ask you, what do you know, and you don't know nothing, they're not going to hire you, guys. Because if, the way I look at it, if I'm an employer, if you're not taking the time to find out who we are, what we stand for, I'm not going to take my time to hire you or invest in you. Point blank, period. All right, guys, and let's talk about how you should prepare for a video interview and just some details about the process of a video interview. Guys, so me personally, I don't like video interviews. I feel like they're very impersonal, because you're not talking to an actual person. You're talking to your camera lens. So for me, it's a little difficult. Like the very first time, I felt weird. So you definitely have to practice talking to someone who's not there. Put it like that. So practice that. One of the things you should do, not few things, is you should test your internet connection. Guys, understand, when you're doing the actual video interview, the one thing you do not want is for your internet to die, or there to be a poor connection, or you have no internet connection, because that will affect the quality of your video interview. Another thing is to test the microphone. So I did my video interviews. I had to, I believe, download Adobe Flash, if I remember, because my computer did not have it. And in order for me to submit, like everyone have a different software they use. You might have to download, but definitely test the internet, test your microphone, and if they will allow you to, I will do a test recording just to see how you appear. I do remember when I did my Mesa airline interview, guys, for some reason, I used the camera that I'm using now. It was a delay. I was like maybe 1 second off, and it could be when I hit record or my internet connection. I'm not sure, but I do remember that there was a delay that I could not fix. And Mesa Airlines, they allowed you to do, you know, multiple recordings, but for some reason I was not able to get that right, the 1 second delay. So do a test recording, just see how you look, see how you sound. I would not recommend recording using your computer, like your laptop computer, since that is not the best quality with some laptops. I would recommend using, like I have Logitech, that's what I'm recording with. It's HD 1080p. So, you know, high definition, just like how you guys are seeing me. I've done some of my interviews with this camera. So just keep that in mind. Also keep it in mind, guys, that these video interviews, that it is a time, the answers are timed. So what I mean is that you can, I don't know if they're going to read the question to you, like it's all voice automated. I don't know if someone's going to actually say the question to you or if you're going to read it. But once you record or hit record, it's timed. So they'll give you a few seconds to go over the question, and then sometimes it'll automatically go to record or you hit record. Whichever one, guys, just remember that your answer has to fit in the format of the time. So they're giving you 2 minutes to answer the question. Don't go over the 2 minutes, or don't have the recording cut off and you're still talking, because they are definitely going to eliminate you. Make sure your answer is good enough, but not short enough where I feel like it's an incomplete answer. So when you're doing a video interview, again, once you hit record, you really can't go back. Another thing, guys, to remember with a video interview with most airlines is that some allow unlimited retakes, some do not. Like I said, with United, I didn't have a retake. So once I read that question and I felt like I was ready, even if I did not like that answer, I could not go back. And that's why I put my airline interview videos out there, so you guys can learn from my mistake. I believe my interview video, yeah, it's still out there. And like I said, it was my very first one, and I was so nervous, and I know exactly why they didn't select me. But keep it in mind that you have to look at what the airline offers. Mesa Airline, you can do unlimited retakes. It took me about a good 2 hours to finish that video, because again, I had a 1 second delay, and in some cases I didn't like my answer. But United, once you hit that record button, there is no going back. Another thing to consider is when you submit your video, you cannot go back and undo what you submitted. So once you submit it, it is final. So that's what I'm saying. Video interviews, you got to treat it as a real process. You know what I mean? Like, you have to take it like, even though it's the screen you're looking at or a lens, treat it as if it's somebody on the other end. Now, most cases with an interview, they might have a Skype call. I know Delta does Skype, and some other airlines do too. But with the video interview, guys, what you're submitting is what they're going to see. If you have any mistakes, any pauses, any if you're unsure, if you're not confident, that's what's going to come across to whoever is looking at your video. And with some airlines, I don't know if it's a third party looking at the video or an actual flight attendant for that company, but however who's looking at it, guys, you have to keep that in mind. And that's what's so tricky about video interviews, and that's why I'm not really successful. Like I said, I'm happy with my airline. They had a phone interview, then I moved to the face-to-face. There was no video interview. As you can see, I'm not good at them, guys, at all. I prefer to be in person, but these are just things that I want you to keep in mind. So remember, test your microphone, test your internet connection, do a test video. Remember that the questions and sometimes the answers are timed. Sometimes the questions are too. Like you have a limit on how many times you can look at the question. But just keep it in mind, guys, that the question shouldn't be too long and it should not be too short. And make sure that you're answering that question, because once you submit, that's it. Guys, never forget to smile. Whether it's over the phone, video interview, or a face-to-face, guys, always smile. Even over the phone, they can hear your smile in your voice. So this is something you must do. Video, in person, or over the phone, guys, just always smile. Because I'm telling you, your cheeks are going to hurt. But they want you to be happy, they want you to be excited, and they want you to be bubbly. You always have to smile as a flight attendant. Another thing, when you're going to your face-to-face, I tell people all the time, the minute you step into the building, you are being seen. Recruiters are looking. The way you can eliminate a whole bunch of people in a crowd that's trying to be a flight attendant is about who is someone who is outgoing and who isn't. Guys, as a flight attendant, you have to be bubbly. When those passengers come on the plane, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, happy holiday. You can't be shy. Even there's passengers, I might say good morning, they may say nothing to me. They might have a bad attitude. But there's other passengers that will observe how I am, and that's all that matters. So when you go into your face-to-face, the minute you walk into that room, shake a hand, meet a friend. That's why I tell everybody, guys, socialize, introduce yourself. You might meet somebody from your home state. You might meet someone that has a similar path to how you guys got there. But no matter what the backstory is, you are being watched. Recruiters are looking at everybody, again, just to see who's outgoing and who is not. Another thing, guys, as a tip, I would say is to be confident in your answers. You may not know the answer, but guys, it makes it look really bad when you're like, or a long pause. Don't do that. Even if the answer is ridiculous, say it with a smile and say it with confidence, guys. Confidence goes a long way. I mean, you got to think about it. You want someone confident to represent your brand. You don't want someone who is timid and shy and may second guess themselves. As a flight attendant, you cannot do that. You have to be quick, because in a matter of a moment, something can change. So keep that in mind when you are giving your answers. Guys, don't give up. Just because one airline says no to you does not mean you should stop, guys. I mean, it took me 4 tries to get to where I am at with my airline, guys. And trust me, I had a process. But never give up, guys, because you may not be a good fit for this airline, but you'll be a good fit for that airline, and that's all that matters. When one door closes, God allows another door to open. So just because someone says no, that is not the final be all, say all. Like, guys, you got to keep on applying and then actually learn from your mistakes. What did I do wrong for them to say no? I mean, I'm not saying it's your fault, but just take it as a lesson, because that's how I did. If you look at my video interview with United, by the time I got to SkyWest, I got better in how to do interviews and what questions to ask and how to answer them. So guys, it's a learning process. Another thing, guys, when you are doing your video interviews, look directly into the camera, guys. Focus on the camera, okay? Don't look to the side, don't look down, don't look up, don't take notes. You have to focus. Just like if you were in someone's face, you know, when you're talking to someone, you want to give them eye contact. That camera lens is the eye contact, guys. So keep that in mind. If you're looking elsewhere, that can be a strike against you. Remember, guys, when you are answering your interview questions, to try and answer them in the STAR format. That is solution, task, action results. So again, it's recommended that you answer questions in that format. Now guys, I didn't do it, and this is why I did not become America's Next Top Model with those other airlines, because I did not do that. But it is recommended, and guys, you can look it up online on how to do that. It's a process. Your girl's not so good at it, but I do remember watching videos and trying to prepare for my interview. They were talking about that star format, so keep that in mind. All right, another thing to remember, guys, is that customer service is secondary to safety. Everything you do as a flight attendant revolves around safety. Your training is about safety. When you are doing your pre-flight checks of your equipment before passengers come on board, that is safety. Ensuring that our passengers are safe. So guys, everything revolves around safety. Safety should be your number one priority. Guys, customer service comes into play when you are doing service, when you are greeting passengers. That is the customer service. But guys, you don't go to training for all that time and they teach you how to be a good customer service agent. They teach you the core values of safety. You have to remember, in the air, you are medic, you are first aid, you are so many titles, guys, in the air. And that is what your training is really about: how to put out a fire, how to evacuate in water, a pipe, if there's a bomb. Like, there's so many things they teach us in training, guys, but it all revolves around safety, ensuring that I'm safe, other crew members are safe, and our passengers. So really remember that, guys, because where I failed in my interview, if you look at my United Airlines interview, guys, I focused on customer service. Everything I said was about customer service this, customer service that. I did very little focus on safety. And now I realize why I was not chosen, guys, because again, safety is everything. Try to find a connection between your job or a job that you've worked and try to tie it in with safety. When I had my group interview with SkyWest, and I mentioned this story earlier, and we had to get up and talk under a minute. What I did, guys, is I tied in my experience with pain management to safety. Again, when I was working in pain management, I got prior authorizations for injections like epidurals, medial branch blocks, radio frequency ablations. So when I call my patients, I had a whole list of things that I had to ensure they understood. One of the things was regarding the injections, you had to fast. So I let them know you have to fast 8 hours before. You are able to have small sips of water just 2 hours prior to the appointment. Don't have any more water. Don't chew tobacco. Don't chew gum. If you're going to have a light breakfast, make sure that, again, it's 8 hours before you come. So guys, I gave them a whole list of things they had to do because it involves around safety. So I was able to connect my pain management duties to the duties of a flight attendant in regards to safety, guys. And that's what you need to do. When you are answering your interview questions, try to tie in the duties and make it focus around safety. Customer service is great, but remember, as a flight attendant, customer service is secondary to safety. And the last thing I want to say, guys, is if you are able, when you give an interview, if you're able to ask questions. That is also a way that makes you stand out. What you want to do, guys, is ask questions that is relevant to the company. Don't be that person, because this happened before. When I went to my airlines face-to-face, like most airlines, they give you a presentation about what the company's about, the pay, the base, just the basic info you need to know about the company. And this is if you didn't do your research, okay? You might meet some people who work for the company, but at the end, they always open the floor up for questions. Don't be that person who's like, how much am I going to make an hour? How soon can I fly with my benefits? Don't do that. Because see, guys, that sounds like you're only interested, and you may be only interested in that company's flight benefits or pay, but don't tell them, because what it sounds like is that you're chasing, meaning like, okay, if I make $30 here, but this is 35 at this other airline, I'm going to leave this airline and go to that one. Don't be like that, because that could be a potential strike against you. Instead, if you're able to ask questions at the end, ask questions that make it sound like you are interested in the company. Like, for instance, how long as an employee before I can move up in the company? What is the retirement program? What is that like? You see what I'm saying? These are things about me being interested and want to invest my time and career with this airline. You don't want to say something that will make you sound like you're just chasing airlines, guys. Because in my face to face, you have people really asking dumb questions, and I was very shocked. And another thing is, if they're saying things or giving me a presentation, take notes. That is what I did. When I went to my face to face, I sat up front because I wanted them to see me, and I took notes. You don't want to be that person where they've already said something and now they have to repeat it. Don't ask someone, oh, what are your bases? Well, if you paid attention to the presentation, you would have known where the bases are at. You see what I'm saying? So take notes, ask important questions that's relevant. And like I said, if you're up in the front, I will hope that you are dressed appropriate, because again, they can see you. But this is what I want you guys to remember with the tips. Again, guys, all of this is to help you, no matter if it's a phone, video, or face-to-face interview, guys. I hope you like this video. I wish you guys all the best of luck. I know it's hard, trust me. I'm going to put my video interview, like I have a playlist, put that for you guys to see. And also, guys, I'm going to include my footage that I found when I did my face-to-face, like what I wore. And yeah, I'm just going to put some stuff at the end of this video for you guys to look. But as always, I love you guys for watching. Thank you so much for rocking with me, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye. Good morning, everyone. It's your girl Deann, and I am in Denver right now, heading to my Frontier interview. It's about a 2 to 3 minute walk to the hotel. But I just wanted to come to you guys with a quick video and just kind of show you guys my look. So I'm wearing this wig. I got my earrings that I told you guys about, my necklace. I just want to show you guys my outfit for today. So this is what I'm wearing. So I should have brought a white shirt. Don't know why I didn't. I was looking at the uniform, well, the things they want us to bring, and it says something like dark color. So I decided to do this. But I have slacks. They do want you to wear trouser socks under your pants. So yeah, I have navy blue. So yeah, your girl's fly, navy blue shirt, navy blue trouser socks, and I got these flats. So I am going to wear this with my blazer. So I got my blazer here. I'm going to throw on. But yeah. So my camera died, and yeah, deciding to record this from my phone. But this should be interesting. So what I'm about to do right now is head downstairs to eat some breakfast real quick. I got to be there in less than 30 minutes. So I will come back and kind of update you with how everything went. The goal, of course, is a CJO, but you just never know. So yeah, I've been studying. So I'm really hoping that this will work out for me. So you guys stay tuned, and I'll talk to you later. This is my homegirl, Maddie, from Arizona, and we both made it. We made it.